Alright, we're on page 13 of your notes. Page 13. We did surface area. You practiced surface area for the most part. You were doing really well with surface area. Now we're moving to volume. If you can find the surface area, you can find the volume because the volume formula doesn't change. If you look on your formula sheet, it literally tells you that volume equals area of the base times the height of the prism. The B and the H. Well, in surface area, you've been finding the B and the H. So it's actually one less step to do. So if we look at this example, alright, it says you've seen that volume of a rectangular prism is the area of the base times the height. It may be written as V equals BH, which is what we've been doing. Since the area of the rectangular base is the length times the width, the formula also is written as volume equals length times width. But if we have a cylinder, we have to use, I don't know what you're doing. Your little hooded hoodlum. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know. Don't mind me. Instead of using length times width times height, we have to replace the base with the area formula of a circle, which is what you've been doing. Okay? So it's the same process that we've been doing. Stand over here so I can see Jake, what he's doing. Okay? So we start with the volume formula. V equals the area of the base times the height of the prism. This is not new. It's the same way we've been doing it. We need a B. We need an H. Well, what's the if we're talking about a cylinder, what's the shape of our base? It's our circle. So we need the area of a circle formula. That's why, I don't know if y'all caught on, but that's why I write A and I draw the shape so that it reminds me that that's the formula I'm using. So when I look at my formula sheet, area equals pi r squared. And then I just replace it with the information that I have. So according to the picture up top, up here, what was our radius? 2. And our height is 3. So if my height is 3 and my radius is 2, I can replace pi with 3.14 times 2 squared. So I've got 12.56 and 3. What do I do with those two numbers? Multiply them together. So my volume equals 12 and 56 hundredths times 3, which is about, because 37.68. But because we're talking about volume, remember volume is packed with little cubes instead of squares, so we cube it. It's just like surface area, except we don't have what part of the surface area? The perimeter, and what do we not have to do? We don't have to multiply it by 2. Okay, it's just the B and the H. That's why I said it's going to be relatively fast today, because you should be able to do this by now. Okay? So the formula for the volume of a cylinder is similar to the volume formula for a rectangular prism. The formula states that the volume, V, is a product. What does product mean?
Answer to a multiplication problem.
Multiply, right? Answer to a multiplication problem. You multiply the area of the base, B, right? And the height, H. The only difference is how you calculate the V. If you use the fact that the base of a cylinder is a circle to write the formula in terms of the radius. Okay? So this is the volume formula down here. When it's replaced with the area of a circle, that's what it looks like. Okay, but we just keep plugging it in like this, and it works. Okay? What you mean? But you do that already. Because when we do that, we do B, and we go, okay, well, it's the area of a circle, so B is pi r squared. So they just replace the B with this, and so you can type it in the calculator all at once, basically. It's the same thing.
Teachers, please excuse this interruption. We have a red book bag in the office that looks like maybe somebody is missing their PE clothes. Could you please come and get it? Your mother brought it in, so I don't know. Thank you.
Alright, find the volume of the cylindrical can of tomato soup shown. Leave your answer in terms of pi, then use 3.14 as an approximation for pi. Round the volume to the nearest tenth. If we were highlighting, you should still have your highlighters out, what are we finding? It says find the volume, okay? What's the key information here? What's important here? Alright, we do want to leave it in terms of pi. And we're going to use 3.14. So we're going to have two answers. What else is important? It may not be part of the word problem. It may be part of the picture. We have the height and we have the radius. That's important, right? And are we supposed to do any rounding here?
Yes.
Nearest tenth. Okay? So if we're finding volume, we need to use the volume formula. I need a B and I need an H. B stands for area of the base. We've been doing this, right? So area of a circle, which is pi r squared. Now, they want us to leave it in terms of pi. So what that means is, instead of putting 3.14 in your calculator, you're going to put the pi symbol in your calculator. Okay? So r squared, what was our r? What's our radius here? 3.5 squared pi. So put that literally in your calculator like that. 3.5 squared pi symbol. What do you get? 38.48. No. Don't expand it out.
38.5.
38.5 pi. Is the pi symbol behind it?
No.
Then you expanded it out. That's not what you're supposed to do. Pi times 3.5 squared. Okay, well it's not. Well, okay. So it's not that. Since it's putting it into a decimal, it's all, your calculator's too smart. We don't want it to do that. Okay? If that's the case, just leave pi and put 3.5 squared in your calculator. What's 3.5 squared in your calculator? That's what I got. Okay. This right here. Okay? What's your height? 10.5. So then what do we do with those two numbers? Times it. So we have 12.25 pi times 10.5. So just pretend like the pi is a variable at the moment. Like pretend it's an x. Okay? Multiply these two together. $128.625 pi, right? But we're supposed to round it to the nearest tenth, so it'd be 128.625 The 6 is in the tens place. It looks to the 2. That's in terms of pi. Okay, that keeps throwing y'all off. That's in terms of pi. If I wanted to use 3.14, I can take my base here, 128.6, treat pi like a variable, and replace it with 3.14. So it'd be 128.6 times 3.14, which would give me 403.8. But it really is an approximate, so it should have the little wiggle symbols. And it's centimeters cubed. Okay. Alright, I want you to try the next one on your own. But pay attention. What do they say? They say use what for pi? So we're not leaving it in terms of pi. You're going to replace pi with 22/7. So you try this one. It's an interesting looking face.
Really close, it's just that where you are. It's not high.
Alright, you should have gotten 770 inches cubed. Good, because the area of your base, you should have done 7/2 squared times 22/7. And you should have gotten 38.5. And your height was 20. And when you multiply the two together, you should have got 770 inches cubed. Good job. You should feel good. You did it. Alright, moving on, we're gonna skip number 3 since y'all got that one right. And this is kind of where, when you have to start finding for a different part of the formula, that sometimes you're like, okay? But you can do it because if you can solve for an equation, you can do this. So it says the volume of a cylinder with a radius of 4 feet is 602 and 88 hundredths feet cubed. Find the height of the cylinder. Use 3.14 for pi. This is where we need to highlight some things. What is it asking us to find? What are we trying to find? The height. It even says find what? The height. Find the height. Okay, so then we go back and go, okay, what key information do I have here? All right, the radius is 4 feet. What else do we have? We have another number here. What does this number represent? It's the volume because it says the volume of this cylinder is this. Another key hint here is, do you see where that, how they have that 3 there? That's a hint that that is the, this is the volume. Okay, so we're finding the height. And we're going to use 3.14 for pi. Okay, so you have your formula, volume equals, I don't like it set up like that, volume equals area of the base times the height, right? We need a B and we need an H. We already know we don't know the H. That's what we're looking for, right? We do know the V. What is the V? What's the volume? Okay? We can find the area of the base because all we need for the area of the base is the radius, right? And we have the radius, right? Yeah, 4 feet. So, pi r squared. Pi is 3.14. Our radius is 4, so 4 squared. So what does the B end up equaling?
50.24.
Okay, so we have 2 out of the 3 numbers, so we can do something with that. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's what we're going to, so we're going to plug this into our formula with what we know. We know that V is this, so we're going to replace V with 102.88 equals, I'm going to erase this up so you can see it a little bit better. Alright, what was our B? 50.24, and we don't know our height. We're solving. So when we solve, on your brain dump, you pivot, right? Oh yeah. Part the waters. Isolate. Do the inverse. And then balance by doing it on both sides. You had several like this on your test, and you weren't pivoting it. So what is that about? So your height is 12. And that's the answer. All right. Look at number 5. The volume of the cylinder is 32 pi. Go yards cubed, find the height. What are we finding here? The height. What do I have? You have this as the radius, and the volume is that. Okay? So volume equals base times height. V, H, and V. We plug in what we know. Well, for the area of the base, I know I need pi r squared. Do I have the information to figure that out? I have the radius, and I know what pi is, right? But notice something here. In your volume, what do they have? A pi symbol. 32 pi. So they're leaving it in terms of, which is actually going to work to your advantage because you can almost pretend like the pi doesn't exist. Okay? So we're gonna leave the pi times r squared, which is 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. So we're leaving it 16 pi. We don't have to do anything with pi. I don't know the height, right? That's what I'm finding. That's the question. And my volume is 32 pi. So when I go in there and replace what I have, I replace the V with 32 pi. I replace B with 16 pi, but I don't know H. So what am I solving for? Height. Part the waters. Isolate the variable. Because there's a pi symbol on both sides of the equation, they cancel out. So then you divide by 16, and what do you get, Jacob?
But instead of doing that, you just do number 32.
I mean, that's what we did do. What we did. 32 divided by 6. You're asking me if I didn't have to write it all down? Technically, no, because they cancel out, but you need to see that they cancel out on both sides. Because you're not old enough and practiced enough to know that. When you get into your first year of college algebra, then you can do that. But until then, you need to write it down. Okay, especially since this is your notes, and you're gonna go to sleep tonight and Saturday night and Sunday night and come in on Monday and go, oh, what did we do on Friday? You can go back to your notes where it's written step by step. Okay. That's pretty much, how do we feel about volume? It's pretty straightforward and pretty easy. So what I would like for you to do is that on your, so that you don't have to do this for homework next week, you can, you've got about 10 minutes. So with your table groups, okay, work through that on your own. Pick some of those on your own questions to work through, okay? It's okay if you don't finish, it's not homework, but I want, let's do,
Yeah, we can do all of them together.
I want you to be able to practice them on your own though. On page 17, do those that are on page, well, that's, let's do 2, 3, 6, and 7. 2, 3, 6, and 7. Try those. 2, 3, 6, and 7. You're just working with them at your table.
Wait, on page 17.
On page 16, 2 and 3. On page 17, 6 and 7.